So for my pre-procedural steps, first thing I'm going to do is to check the nursing care plan and then gather all the supplies that I'm going to need. For today, that is my O2 saturation monitor, a thermometer, my blood pressure cuff, and then my stethoscope. Once I've gathered my supplies, I will then enter the patient's room. So the first thing I'm going to do is wash my hands when I come into the patient's room. Good afternoon. My name is Jordan. I am a student, married nursing student, and today I'm going to be assessing you and taking some of your vital signs. Can you give me your first and last name and your date of birth, please?
Baron Corley, March 19th, 97.
Okay, Mr. Corley. So this is where I would shut the door or pull the curtain, provide privacy depending on the location. Okay, Mr. Corley, so what brings you in to see us today?
My lower legs kind of been hurting me.
Okay, and when did this pain in your lower leg begin?
It started the other day after I ran for 3 miles.
Okay, and would you describe the pain as aching, throbbing, shooting pain?
More of a throb.
More of a throbbing pain? Okay, let's see. Does it hurt whenever I touch it on it right there?
Not any more than it usually does.
Okay, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you describe the pain?
Probably a 3.
3, okay. And is there anything that makes it worse, better? Is there any particular time it hurts worse?
Not really. It's just kind of a constant ache.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Corley, so now I'm going to go ahead and just take your vital signs. We're going to start with your temperature. If you'd open your mouth for me. So when I'm placing the thermometer in his mouth, I'm going to make sure it's on the left or right posterior sublingual pocket for proper reading. And then his temperature, okay, your temperature is 98.7, which falls in the normal range of 96.4 to 99.1. The next thing I'm going to do is to check his pulse rate. So Mr. Corley, I'm just going to check your pulse now. I'm going to palpate his radial pulse and then count for 30 seconds unless I feel any kind of irregularity, and then I would count for the full minute. Okay, so I was 35 beats in a 30-second period, which means 70 beats per minute, which is perfectly normal. It falls within the normal range of 50 to 95 beats per minute. So, okay, Mr. Corley, now I'm going to check your O2 saturation, just to make sure that is above 90% to be normal. And during this time, I'm also going to be observing Mr. Corley's respirations to make sure they're not labored or using any kind of accessory muscles. And I'm going to be counting those for about 30 seconds and multiplying by 2 just to make sure it falls between 10 and 20 respirations per minute. Okay, Mr. Corley, your O2 saturation is 95%, so that's perfectly normal. And now I'm going to take your blood pressure. First thing I'm going to do with the blood pressure cuff is to measure and make sure I have the proper size, which I do. And then I'm going to apply the cuff above the elbow, make sure that I get it fastened tight, and that my meter is clearly viewable. I want to make sure these hoses are out of the way too. And then first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to palpate that radial pulse again and inflate the cuff until I no longer feel it to get an estimation for what that systolic number is going to be. Okay. Now that I've got that idea and range in my head, I'm going to put on my stethoscope and making sure that the earpieces are facing forward. And I'm going to place the end right over that brachial pulse to get a good reading on Mr. Corley's blood pressure. Okay, Mr. Corley, here we go. So, Mr. Corley, your blood pressure is 114/60, which falls within the normal range of less than 120 over less than 90, or less than 80. So, okay, Mr. Corley, now that I've gotten all your vital signs, that's going to complete my process of the assessment. Is there anything else I can do for you before I leave?
I can think of it.
Okay, and so as I'm leaving Mr. Corley's room, my post-procedural steps, I'm going to clean any equipment that I used during his assessment. I'm then going to, if we were in a hospital setting, I would make sure his bed was raised or lowered back down to the proper height and make sure his call button was within reach. And then as I'm leaving, clean the equipment, wash my hands, and then I would go and document all of the vital signs and the information from the pain assessment that I received from Mr. Corley.